our city to have compassion and unity and well-being. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we now call the Wheeling City Council meeting of February 17, 2026 to order. I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Mr. Asaro?
Here.
Ms. Kane?
Here.
Mayor Magruder?
Here.
Mr. Palmer?
Here.
Mr. Seidler?
Here.
Mr. Sklavonakis?
Here.
And Mr. Thorngate?
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. We have before us the minutes from the February 3, 2026 meeting. Is there a motion to accept as received?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion, changes, questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And those minutes are approved as, accepted as received. We now move to the mayor's report. I have one item tonight. I want to talk a little bit about, we announced last week at the State of the Union address the creation of a housing development task force. I'd just like to give a few details on that if we could. I think not only myself, but several of the council representatives over the last year and a half here have had numerous questions about housing problems. Questions like a lot of young people saying, where can we live? Where can we buy affordable housing in Wheeling? You want the young people to come here. You want them to be part of the community. There's no affordable places for them to live. I've heard that over and over, and I see some head nods right now. In the case of young professionals, medical people coming into our community, I asked a question at WU Medicine. We want those people to live here. Well, we've got to be able to provide some new upscale housing, the type that they're used to competitively, so we can get them. So we need to look at that. On the other end of the spectrum, there's a lot of older folks who have raised their families here in the neighborhood, and the time's come for them to move out to single family, to smaller homes, to places that don't have stairs. We hear that over and over. So we talk about economic development or other problems, but if we can't house the people we expect to live and work here, then we have a major problem. So I believe that's one of our number one problems. And so I think we're going to address that. And let me give you a little bit of an outline on this tonight. We certainly don't have all the answers, but we're going to announce the details of a task force here that's ad hoc, which means it's going to begin shortly. In about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll actually launch. It has a defined time period. It'll wrap up, and they'll present a report to City Council here by November 1. And let me just kind of talk a little bit about this. The reason we're establishing this is to examine the barriers to constructing new housing, particularly single-family homes, and to recommend some actionable, and I think that's a key word, we really want to take some action here, some actionable strategies to increase the supply of quality, attainable housing within our city. Here's the primary goals. 1, identify regulatory, financial, infrastructure, and market barriers to new single-family housing development. Secondly, we want to evaluate which barriers are within the city's control of influence. So what can we do to make changes to help that? We want to recommend policy changes, process improvements, and incentive tools to encourage new home construction and developments. We want to support neighborhood-compatible developments and long-term community growth. We want to consider the possibilities of annexation of developed and undeveloped properties and areas around us. We want to produce clear, implementable recommendations for City Council. And so a little bit about the scope of work, just so I think you know what this task force is going to be charged with. Zoning and subdivision regulations, including lot size, setbacks, and permitted uses. They'll be looking at that. They'll look at the permitting and review processes, including timelines and coordination across all departments. They'll look at infrastructure capacity and the condition, especially water and sewer, stormwater, roads, and hillside stabilizations. We'll look at topography and floodplain constraints, including FEMA flood zones and hillside development limitations. We'll look at construction costs versus achievable sales prices here in Wheeling, West Virginia. We'll look at financing and appraisal challenges, particularly for new construction in established neighborhoods. We're going to look at the use of more city-owned land and land bank properties in some of our infill properties in certain neighborhoods. Maybe we can package that and entice a developer to come and look at building houses on several different parcels in a neighborhood. We're going to consider the neighborhood acceptance and compatibility of new single homes. We need to make sure it meets within the confines of those various neighborhoods. And then we're going to talk about, as I said, general annexation considerations of developed, undeveloped, and existing incorporated areas, or unincorporated as well. Just a note, this task force will not review or approve individual development proposals. That's not their job. They'll do the research. It is our hope that they will use several tools, that they will interview different groups, different people, and compile data, that they will use surveys to reach out to find and uncover some of the real problems. And then, of course, the committee itself will discuss that with them. I think there's a pretty impressive group of people that have agreed to serve on this committee. I'm not going to read you all the names tonight, but the membership will include the following groups. City officials, obviously the city manager, planning, engineering, and code enforcement people are going to be part of that committee. City council representatives, and I will divulge who those members are tonight. Councilman Seidler, Councilor Connie Kane, and Councilman Ty Thorngate. Again, I think they represent a number of components in our city. They understand the housing problem, and they will sit on this committee. Local builders and developers, lenders and appraisers familiar with the Wheeling market, real estate professionals, utility providers in the area of water, electric, gas, to make sure that as we look at our infrastructure and infrastructure extensions, we know where and what we can do. And I would also, at this time, say that all members serve in an advisory capacity. Any final decisions when they come back to council would be made by this body of city council. So I just want to make sure that's it. A list of expected deliverables. We're going to be pretty apprehensive. We want some information coming back. We want a listing of Wheeling-specific housing development barriers. What are the real barriers? We think we know what they are, each one of us, but is it the real barrier? We need to find that out. We want some short-term recommendations, such as policy or process changes that we could accommodate to help that. We want some long-term strategies, code updates, infrastructure, investment incentives, and maybe some state action as far as state law goes. Recommendations for builders and developers and how we can recruit more of those. Identification of potential annexation in areas. One of the problems we have is that we are a bit landlocked in terms of flat developable space. We got to be a little more creative. And so we reach out to this task force to help us. And then we want to identify potential pilot sites maybe, or demonstration projects that can validate some of our findings. This task force will begin to meet, as I said, in approximately 3 weeks, and they'll produce a final report to City Council by November 1. We've had a lot of great feedback. It's exciting, and I can tell you that there are a lot of what I want to call high power, really interested citizens, professionals from all of these disciplines involved. So I'm really excited about this launch and hope that if any of you are called upon, either whether it's for interviews, for surveys, or just flat out help, we'd greatly appreciate it. That concludes my report tonight, unless there's questions. Any questions of council? That concludes the mayor's report. Let's go down to clerk's report.
There is no clerk's report this evening.
Unfinished business.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $114,115 with Calcruth Roofing and Sheet Metal Inc. of Wheeling, West Virginia for 36th Street and Bridge Park Pool roof replacements to be charged to fiscal year 25 CDBG.
I will move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, I'm going to ask the clerk to please call the vote.
Mr. Asaro?
Aye.
Mr. Seidler?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mayor Magruder?
Aye.
Mr. Sklavonakis?
Yes.
Mr. Thorngate?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
That motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $73,915 with Yon Electric Company, Inc. of Wheeling, West Virginia for EV chargers at Intermodal Transportation Center and Center Market to be charged at EECBG.
I'll move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Yes. Mr. Herring, could you explain the funding source for this?
Yes, this funding came through the
Inflation Reduction Act during the Biden administration. It was put on hold when President Trump took office and has subsequently been released. So this was a project we actually bid out a couple of years ago. The contractors held the price. It is 2 EV chargers at Center Market and 3 at the Intermodal Transportation Center. Currently, we have 4 at the Market Street parking structure, so this will add 5 more.
Where in Center Market are they going?
The lower market on the street. Unfortunately, it will require 2 parking spaces.
2 for each one, or
No, just 2 total.
2 total?
Yeah.
And then in the parking garage, there's a place in the intermodal with,
Yeah, I think we're putting them on the 2nd floor in the intermodal.
and we've not had any problems with the ones that are in the new parking garage at 11th Street.
No, we have not. We haven't had any problems. The only problem we've had is that people have parked electric cars there and not charged them. But no, we've not had any problems when they actually use them correctly.
Okay, and so if they use the chargers, then the bill funds would come back to like the intermodal?
Yes, the intermodal, any revenue generated would go to the intermodal as a separate fund, which we're required to do under the Federal Transportation Authority on that building. The ones at the Market Street parking structure go towards that budget. And then the same thing, the Center Market would go towards the general fund, because 100% of the Center Market is funded out of the general fund.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would again ask the clerk to call for the vote, please.
Mr. Seiler.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mayor Magruder.
Aye.
Mr. Sklavonakis.
Aye.
Mr. Thorngate.
Aye.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Osaro.
Aye.
And that motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $54,712.35 with Game Time of Charlotte, North Carolina for Mozart Park Shelter and Recreation Equipment to be charged to the project fund.
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second?
Do I hear any discussion? Hearing none, once again, we ask the clerk to call the vote, please.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mayor Magruder.
Aye.
Mr. Sklavonakis.
Aye.
Mr. Thorngate.
Aye.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Osaro.
Aye.
And Mr. Seidler.
Aye.
That motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $15,190 with Atlas Environmental Management of Youngstown, Ohio for the rental of 2 temporary frac tanks to be charged to Water Pollution Control Division.
Move for adoption of the ordinance?
Second. Are there any questions or any discussion? Once again, hearing none, I'd ask the clerk to please call for the vote.
Mr. Sklavonakis.
Aye.
Mr. Thorngate.
Aye.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Osaro.
Aye.
Mr. Seidler.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
And Mayor Magruder.
Aye, and that motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into negotiations and execute the appropriate documents to extend the service of Verdantis for 12 months to continue providing flow monitoring, data management, equipment operations, and maintenance in accord with the city's Phase 2 status and Phase 3 wastewater system improvements.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
A second.
Is there any discussion? Once again, hearing none, I'd ask the clerk to please call the vote.
Mr. Thorngate.
Aye.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Osaro.
Aye.
Mr. Seidler.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mayor Magruder.
Aye.
And Mr. Sklavonakis.
Aye. That motion's approved.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling authorizing the conveyance of certain real property located at 129 15th Street to the Ohio Valley ADC and further authorizing the city manager to execute and deliver such deeds and other documents to effectuate this conveyance.
Move for adoption of the ordinance.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Once again, hearing none, I'd ask the clerk to please call the vote.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Mr. Osaro.
Aye.
Mr. Seidler.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mayor Magruder.
Aye.
Mr. Sklavonakis.
Aye.
And Mr. Thorngate.
Aye.
And that motion's approved.
And that concludes unfinished business.
Thank you. We have no holdovers tonight, so we have remarks from members of council. And I would start this evening with Councilor Seidler.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank you for bringing this forward, the Housing Development Task Force. I think this is going to be a great thing for our community. I'm honored to be a part of it. I think it's well needed here, and I think it's going to go a long way, and I'm looking forward to participating.
Councilor Kane.
Nothing for me today.
Vice Mayor.
Nothing this evening.
Councilor Thorngate.
None for me today, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilor Palmer.
Yes. I've been following along with, on the Friday calls with the West Virginia Municipal League regarding legislative action that's taking place. Some of the concerns right now are a companion bill of Senate Bill 894 and House Bill 5364. This is by the request of the governor. And what he's trying to do is eliminate a lot of boards and committees, and one of them is the Home Rule Board. The good thing is it codifies a lot of things with the Home Rule Board, but if it does away with the board, then no more changes. That's it. Whatever's in the legislation, that's it. So if you want to change something under Home Rule, you're not going to be able to change it without the Home Rule Board. So that's something the league's following closely. Good news, there's a bill to Senate Bill 726 to remove the current 30% cap on stabilization funds before the excesses have to be transferred. So now they would remove the cap on that. Other ones are not moving a whole lot, but there is one that I've been following kind of closely, is Senate Bill 231, and it has to do with addiction care outcomes and value-based payments. That's passed the Senate, or went to a vote on the Senate, I believe, this week. I haven't heard from Mr. Borsick, my liaison down there. He's been reporting to me on it. But that's quite interesting to follow along with. Not a whole lot of other ones right yet. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of details, but there is a link out there if you ever want to join in at 11:30 every Friday for the league update. I would recommend it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Sarah.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you very much. We have no committee reports this evening. Report of the city manager, Mr. Herron.
Thank you, Mayor. The trail removal project at West Bank Arena that was scheduled to begin in January, but because of heavy snow was postponed, is scheduled to begin next Monday. It will require a closure of the Heritage Trail for at least a day, and possibly longer, but right now it's planned for 1 day, weather permitting, so we're excited to get that project done. It has to be completed by the end of March. The Glenwood Road slip project, you recall at the last council meeting I mentioned that AEP would be doing utility relocation on the first slip on Glenwood Road. It initially was planned to take 2 weeks. It only took 1 week, so it is done. And I can say that FEMA has released the funds for this slip, which is about a $500,000 expenditure, and we have authorized Verdandis to finish design and bid this project. So once I get a time frame for bidding, which probably will begin within the next 30 days, I'll let City Council know. So that went very well. We really, really appreciate AEP and their subcontractors' cooperation. I don't think we received any complaints about people not having access. They did the work between 10 and 2, had a flagger, so I think most folks could. It might have been a little bit of a delay, but they were able to get it, to and from where they needed to be on Glenwood Road, so we appreciate that. And then the Clay School demolition project, bid opening is this Friday, so hopefully we'll receive some competitive bids. There is a lot of interest in this project. I think we have 5 or 6 contractors who have gone through the entire process, and we do anticipate bids from all of them. So hopefully we'll have some good news to report to council at the next city council meeting, which hopefully will be in the city council chambers. The chambers are pretty much done. The carpet has been put in. We're having all the electronics tested tomorrow. The issue is more not necessarily the council room itself, it's the access to the room and some the temporary construction wall that's up and the need for that to continue to be there while other work is being done. But we're hopeful that in 2 weeks from today, we might be able to have the city council meeting in that room. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. That's my report.
We certainly welcome that opportunity. Are there any questions from any other members of council? Thank you, Mr. Herron. We appreciate it. We have no report of other officers tonight. How about petitions of redress or grievance?
There are none.
Petitions of all other kind?
There are none.
Original propositions?
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $16,674.39 with Grade 8 Solutions LLC of Warren, Ohio for purchase of replacement plug and swing check valves to be charged to water pollution control. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $25,780 to GM Baker and Son Moody's of Dayton of Columbus, Ohio for well pump number 3 rehab to be charged to water. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling fixing the assessment for the cost of raising a dilapidated structure on real property in the city in accordance with applicable sections of the West Virginia Code and the codified ordinances of the City of Wheeling. And that concludes original propositions.
Thank you. With that, we're down to those wishing to be heard. We have two individuals signed up tonight. First, we have Carly Ditmar. And Carly, you know the drill.